The world has spent centuries worshipping royal jewels as symbols of wealth, power, and perfection. We see them glowing on palace balconies, sparkling in official portraits, and flashing beneath the lights of state banquets. But here's the twist most people never hear. Some of the crowns worn by queens, princesses, and legendary icons are hiding a secret so unexpected it almost feels unreal. When the cameras move closer and the glamour fades, these priceless treasures begin to reveal crooked frames, dull stones, bending metal, and designs that look more costume shop than crown jewel. Because behind the gold and diamonds is a truth the royal family never advertises. Not everything in the palace is as flawless as it seems. And the closer you get to these famous jewels, the more shocking the truth becomes. Before we begin, please support my channel by clicking on the like and subscribe button. Thank you. At the very top of the list sits the Cambridge Lover's Knot tiara. There is no royal jewel more iconic, more photographed, or more emotionally charged than the Cambridge Lover's Knot. It belonged to Queen Mary before it passed into the hands of Queen Elizabeth II and later became synonymous with Princess Diana. Today it is worn by Catherine, Princess of Wales, making it one of the most recognisable tiaras in the world. The materials alone tell a story of royal excess. It features rows of brilliant and rose-cut diamonds arranged in delicate arches, capped with bows known as lover's knots. Hanging from each knot is a pear-shaped Baroque pearl, 19 in total, suspended gently so that they move with the slightest motion. But here is where the mystery unravels. Those elegant swinging pearls are held in place by thin metal loops that are surprisingly fragile up close. Under harsh lighting, the loops reveal tiny bends and distortions. High-resolution exhibition photographs even show visible solder points where the delicate parts were attached. Instead of looking like a masterwork of craftsmanship, parts of the tiara resemble carefully bent wire. For Princess Diana, the story went even deeper. The weight of the tiara reportedly gave her headaches because the structure, though gorgeous, was stiff and heavy. It looked magical from afar, yet uncomfortable and imperfect in reality. And that is not the only thing. Many historians speculate that the tiara has undergone multiple repairs across its lifetime, which may explain why the frame appears slightly uneven in certain photos. So while the Cambridge Lover's Knot shines beautifully under ballroom lighting, its close-up appearance tells a quieter story, one where romance, craftsmanship, and human imperfection all collide. And the most surprising part is this. It remains one of the most cherished jewels of modern royalty, proving that beauty, even a flawed one, can still be unforgettable. Taking the second place is Queen Mary's fringe tiara. This is the tiara that almost ruined a royal wedding. Owned by Queen Mary, later passed to Queen Elizabeth II, and famously worn on her wedding day, the fringe tiara carries enough history to fill a museum on its own. Its materials are impressive. Crafted by Garrod, the piece includes 47 tapering spikes set with 633 brilliant cut and 271 rose-cut diamonds arranged in a line that can be detached and worn as a necklace. Inspired by traditional Russian court style, the design reflects the kokoshnik headdresses once worn by the Russian imperial family. But while its symbolism is grand, its appearance up close is remarkably plain. Under inspection, the fringe tiara looks like a row of oversized diamond hairpins. The spikes are mechanical, rigid, and highly structured, with visible joints in between. Instead of flowing curves or sculpted artistry, the tiara has an industrial, almost practical feel. And the problems do not end there. On the morning of Queen Elizabeth's wedding, the tiara famously snapped while her hairdresser was securing it. A broken hinge exposed the fragility of the piece, forcing it to be rushed, under police escort, to Garrod for an emergency repair. Although it was fixed in time, The break revealed just how vulnerable the tiara's slim metal framework truly was. So why does it look cheap up close? Because the fringe tiara prioritizes function over beauty. It is adjustable, convertible, and engineered like a movable machine, but these features make it look less luxurious when subjected to close photography. Even today, macro shots reveal the joints and metal ridges that betray its utilitarian construction. In the end, this jewel remains one of the most historically significant pieces of the royal vault, yet it is also one whose beauty depends entirely on distance. Stepping into the third place is Queen Alexandra's kokoshnik tiara. At first glance, Queen Alexandra's kokoshnik tiara is a sheet of pure light. Made entirely of diamonds arranged in perfectly straight vertical bars, it catches and reflects light like a frozen waterfall. Owned by Queen Alexandra and gifted to her in 1888 by 365 women of British high society, the piece was designed to mimic the Russian kokoshnik style worn by her sister, Empress Marie Fyodorovna. The materials could not be more luxurious. 77 diamond bars arranged in a graduated pattern form a frame of glittering symmetry. The stones are mounted in platinum and structured in a way that allows the entire tiara to double as a necklace. But despite its brilliance, the kokoshnik tiara reveals an unexpected secret when examined closely. Up close, the design looks flat, rigid, and startlingly repetitive. The long vertical bars resemble the teeth of a silver comb. There are no scrolls, no curves, and no ornamental flourishes to soften the effect. The minimalism, while intentional, causes the tiara to look less like a royal masterpiece and more like a piece produced on an assembly line. Museum close-ups show identical rods sitting side by side with minimal variation, and the simplicity that once felt regal under candlelight now appears industrial under modern photography. Why does it look cheap up close? Because the tiara was built for brilliance, not complexity. In a world before high-definition cameras, its ability to scatter candlelight made it magical. Today, without that atmospheric glow, its straightforward construction becomes obvious. Yet somehow, that simplicity has become part of its legend. And with the next jewel, the surprises continue. Claiming the fourth spot is Princess Diana's sapphire choker tiara. Few images of Princess Diana are as unforgettable as the moment she stepped out, wearing a deep blue velvet gown with a sapphire and diamond choker encircling her forehead like a modern crown. It was bold, daring, and incredibly memorable. But here is the twist. The sapphire tiara was never designed to be a tiara at all. Originally a choker necklace, the piece was fashioned from diamonds and one magnificent central sapphire. When Diana placed it on her head, she used a simple velvet band to stabilize it. The materials themselves are exquisite, with the sapphire believed to be of high quality and surrounded by diamonds set in white gold. But the construction reveals its limitations. Up close, the velvet band looks improvised. It bends and creases under the weight of the stones. The frame beneath the sapphire does not have the rigid support found in true tiaras, causing slight spacing irregularities that become visible under strong lighting. Sotheby's specialists have confirmed that the piece is a conversion, not a purpose-built crown. It was never engineered to be worn on the head. The velvet behaves like fabric, not metal, and photographs highlight the jagged edges where the necklace was adapted. Still, the choker-turned tiara remains one of the most iconic visual moments of Diana's fashion legacy, proving that even imperfect jewels can create unforgettable images. Taking the fifth place is the Strathmore Rose tiara. This tiara carries the scent of romance and the elegance of a bygone era. Given to Lady Elizabeth Bowes Lyon by her father before her marriage to the Duke of York, the future King George VI, the Strathmore Rose tiara reflects the delicate beauty of the 1920s. Its materials include diamonds set into rose-shaped motifs arranged across a flexible frame. The piece can be worn across the forehead in the fashionable bandeau style of the 20s, or placed upright as a traditional tiara. It can even be dismantled into 5 individual brooches. But while the craftsmanship reflects creativity, the details reveal its weaknesses. Up close, the metal petals are astonishingly thin, almost paper-like. They lack the sculpted depth seen in modern floral tiaras. The flowers themselves can appear flat, giving the illusion of costume jewellery rather than a royal heirloom. High-resolution images reveal tiny metal edges that break the illusion of luxury. Under certain lighting, the diamonds do not catch the light as boldly as expected, perhaps due to the age of the settings or the naturalistic style that prioritises shape over sparkle. The romance remains, but the grandeur fades under scrutiny. Moving into the 6th place is Princess Anne's diamond festoon tiara. There is a quiet strength in Princess Anne, a sort of unshakable practicality that has carried her through decades of royal duties with almost military precision. And in many ways, the diamond festoon tiara she received in 1973 from the Worldwide Shipping Group reflects that same measured simplicity. Unlike the towering diamond creations worn by other royals, this tiara carries a gentler, more modest personality. The materials reveal an antique heart. Crafted likely at the turn of the 20th century, the tiara features diamonds arranged in festoon-style garlands, with small clusters and loops that curve softly along the frame. The stones are genuine and the craftsmanship is respectable for its era, but the jewel was never intended to dominate a room. It was made to accompany the wearer quietly, not overwhelm her. And that is exactly why, up close, the festoon tiara often looks surprisingly plain. The diamonds, though real, are small and evenly spaced in a way that resembles high-end bridal accessories rather than the opulent tiaras of major royal houses. Certain photographs reveal a structural simplicity that feels almost commercial. There is no dramatic centerpiece, no unusual stone, and no extravagant flourish to elevate the design into something grand. Instead, the tiara leans heavily on repetition, creating a look that can appear predictable and flat under modern camera lenses. Yet somehow, this simplicity suits Princess Anne perfectly. Her style has always been practical, understated, and grounded. The tiara may not command attention up close, but perhaps that was never its purpose. What matters is how well it matches the woman who wears it. And as we move through this list, the pattern becomes clearer. Beauty in royal jewels is not always about perfection. Sometimes it is about the story that lies beneath. Sliding into the 7th position is Queen Maxima's ruby peacock tiara. If ever there were a royal jewel built for spectacle, it is the ruby peacock tiara. Owned by Queen Maxima of the Netherlands, this piece is not just a tiara, it is a declaration. With its bold fan-shaped structure and vibrant ruby feathers, it commands attention at any state event. But as with many jewels on this list, that theatrical presence hides a surprising truth when viewed up close. The materials tell the story of ambition. The tiara features numerous rubies in various cuts, surrounded by bright diamonds that form stylized peacock feathers radiating outward. It is designed for drama, for movement, for light. And from a distance, the effect is mesmerizing. But step closer and the cracks begin to show. The ruby feathers, while striking, often appear strangely flat. Instead of being layered or domed, each feather panel spreads outward without the three-dimensional sculpting found in many royal masterpieces. Under strong lighting, the rubies frequently photograph as deep, dark red patches rather than bright, fiery gemstones. Gemologists have observed that the rubies vary in quality and colour saturation, which becomes particularly obvious in macro images. Even more revealing is the metal backing. When cameras zoom in during major events such as the inauguration of King Willem Alexander, parts of the tiara's plate-like structure can be seen beneath the stones, giving the piece an unexpectedly rigid and almost costume-like appearance. Taking the 8th place is Queen Sonia of Norway's turquoise tiara. This is a jewel that embodies the personality of a royal family known for modesty, simplicity, and clean Scandinavian elegance. Owned by Queen Sonia of Norway, the turquoise tiara stands apart from the regal diamonds and dramatic rubies found elsewhere in Europe. It is calm, symmetrical, and undeniably unique. But it is also one of the most controversial tiaras when viewed up close. The materials immediately distinguish it from more traditional royal pieces. Instead of diamonds or sapphires, the tiara features large turquoise cabochons arranged in a repeating pattern across a silver-toned frame. Turquoise is a beautiful gemstone in its own right, but it behaves very differently from clear or faceted stones. Its texture is opaque, its colour varies naturally, and its surface often reflects light in a matte rather than sparkling way. These qualities are precisely what cause the tiara to look cheap up close. Under strong modern photography, the turquoise stones can resemble smooth plastic beads or ceramic buttons. While they may be valuable in context, their appearance lacks the depth and light play associated with high jewellery. When cameras capture the tiara at certain angles, the stones appear surprisingly flat with uneven patterns within the mineral. The frame itself is symmetrical but simple, without the ornate detail that normally suggests royal grandeur. Arriving in the 9th spot is the York diamond tiara worn by Sarah Ferguson. The 1980s were bold, unapologetic, and overflowing with dramatic silhouettes. And no royal jewel captures the spirit of that decade more than the York diamond tiara. Owned by Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, and purchased specifically for her wedding to Prince Andrew in 1986, this tiara carries a charm that is deeply nostalgic. Yet at the same time, its close-up appearance reveals characteristics that have not aged gracefully. The materials include rows of small diamonds arranged in scroll-like patterns that rise into a V-shaped peak at the centre. It was designed by Garrard, the same royal jeweller behind many famous crowns, and crafted to match the grandeur of a royal wedding. But unlike historical tiaras that developed over generations, this piece was brand new at the time, created during an era when luxury often embraced bold outlines over intricate detail. Up close, this becomes immediately obvious. The diamonds, though real, are modest in size, and their sparkle competes with a surprisingly thick metal frame that supports the design. Modern close-ups, especially those from BBC archival footage, show visible metalwork beneath the stones, giving the tiara an unexpectedly heavy and commercial feel. The overall shape, with its strong central V, resembles high-end bridal tiaras sold in luxury boutiques during the 80s, rather than the heirloom masterpieces worn by past queens. So why does it look cheap up close? Because the design reflects a trend rather than timeless artistry. The stones are evenly spaced but lack dimension. The metal framework is more dominant than the diamonds. And instead of the layered depth seen in older European tiaras, this one sits squarely in the realm of fashion-driven glamour. Beautiful in context, but undeniably dated when examined with a modern eye. Yet its story is important because it reminds us that not all royal jewels emerge from centuries of heritage. Some are products of their time, shaped by the culture they were born into. And the final jewel on this list brings us into one of the most historically rich collections in Europe. Completing the list at number 10 is the Danish ruby and diamond tiara. This jewel carries the weight of empire, revolution, and royal reinvention. Owned by the Danish royal family and worn most frequently by Queen Margrethe II, the ruby tiara is part of a full parure with roots tracing back to the Napoleonic era of France. Its history is extraordinary, its symbolism is powerful, but its appearance up close tells a surprisingly uneven story. The materials consist of diamonds arranged in scrolls and clusters, interwoven with rubies that form the signature red accents of the tiara. When worn as part of the full ruby set alongside the necklace, earrings and brooches, the effect is striking from a distance. The red and white colours echo Denmark's national palette, turning the Queen into a living emblem of the kingdom. But once again, the closer the camera moves, the more evident the imperfections become. Many of the rubies appear murky or dark in certain lighting due to their natural inclusions and historical cutting styles. Unlike modern gems that are faceted for maximum brilliance, older rubies often retain uneven coloration, giving them a patchy look when seen up close. Macro photography reveals significant variation in hue from stone to stone. The metalwork supporting the rubies can appear thick and somewhat clunky by contemporary standards, reflecting the craftsmanship norms of the early 19th century. So why does it look cheap up close? Because the piece was never crafted to impress in the detailed way modern viewers expect. It was built in a period that prioritized colour and symbolism over precision and reflective brilliance. What mattered most was how the tiara looked from across a ballroom, not how it appeared under a 21st century zoom lens. Even so, the ruby tiara carries a legacy that transcends physical imperfections. It remains a living artifact, one that tells the story of the women who wore it, the empires that shaped it, and the traditions that preserved it. Now that these truths are out in the open, the question becomes even more compelling. If these jewels, worn by some of the most photographed people on Earth, carry hidden imperfections, what else lies behind the carefully curated world of royalty? What other stories are waiting beneath the surface of sparkle and ceremony? And perhaps more importantly, does perfection really matter? Or do these flaws remind us that even the grandest symbols of power are still human at their core? So now I want to hear from you. Which of these 10 royal jewels shocked you the most when you saw the details up close? And which one, imperfections and all, remains your favourite? Also, if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because there's more to where this came from. See you next time.